I'm told to simplify this radical expression. And so the first thing I want to do is work by simplifying the perfect squares. So square root of 25 is going to be 5, so I write that right down here. And then I can break apart the radicals, the ones that are in fractions, so like square root of 9 over 5, I can break that apart as square root of 9 over square root of 5. So square root of 9 we know it to be 3, so we write that here. Then over square root of 5 is going to stay the same. Then the other radical expression is going to be square root of 3 over 5. Break that apart as square root of 3 over square root of 5. So I have this written right here. And then a technique I can use to get rid of the fraction here in the numerator is, instead of just working with the numerator by itself and getting a common denominator and combining and then doing whatever, a quicker technique I can use in this case is I can multiply the numerator of the big fraction and the denominator of the big fraction by square root of 5 over square root of 5. So when I do that, notice what happens for this numerator of the big fraction up here. 3 square root of 5 times square root of 5 is going to be 3, so write that right here. And then square root of 3 times over square root of 5 times square root of 5 over here is going to be just square root of 3 remaining. So I got rid of the fractions in the numerator. But I must also multiply the denominator by that. So it's going to be 5 square root of 5 minus, and then square root of 15 times square root of 5 would be square root of 75, which can simplify, and you're going to get 5 times square root of 3. So I have this, and we're getting closer to our final solution, but I cannot have a radical in the denominator. So I need to rationalize the expression. So I look over here on the top right side, and I need to multiply by the conjugate. But before I do that, I can factor out a 5. Notice here I have 5 square root of 5 minus 5 square root of 3. I can pull out a 5, and I'm left with square root of 5 minus square root of 3 inside of parentheses. So multiply by the conjugate of that part right there, not the 5, but just the radical part. It's going to leave me with multiplying by square root of 5 plus square root of 3 for the top and the bottom. So I'm trusting that you know how to multiply radicals. You'd have to FOIL the numerator and FOIL the denominator. So what I have is going to be this expression right underneath here. I'm not going to take the time to explain how to do all that. But notice now the denominator, I have 5 times 5 minus 3, which is going to be 10. And so I have no more radicals in the denominator. And so this right here is going to be my final solution. 3 square root of 5 plus 3 square root of 3 minus square root of 15 minus 3, all that over 10.